Today we are going to discuss an important concept called enterprise structure. And also while discussing this concept, I'll also compare with EBS so that you can easily understand. And also we'll see the differences also between Fusion to EBS application in terms of Fusion enterprise structure. Okay. And this is the comparison sheet. Here you can see the comparison. So the top level entity, the first entity is nothing but enterprise. The first entity is nothing but enterprise, and which is equivalent to the business group in EBS, which is equivalent to the business group in EBS. And the second one is divisions. The second one is a divisions, and there is no equivalent entity in EBS for divisions. And then ledger and legal entity same. Ledger and legal entity same, and operating unit is replaced by the business unit in Fusion. Operating unit is replaced by the business unit in Fusion, and rest of the things are same, like master org creation and child inventory ordinations creation and sub inventory creation and locators, rest are all same. Rest of them are same. Okay. And in Fusion enterprise structure, I marked into different colors. The first two is the responsibility of a human capital management consultant, nothing but HR consultant. We are supply chain management consultant, right? In the similar way, in the similar way, in our companies, in our projects, HR consultants are there. So HR consultants are going to configure and maintain the first entity and second entity. And the third and fourth are the responsibility of a financial consultant. So ledger creation and maintaining the ledger, legal entity creation and maintaining the legal entity, it's a financial consultant responsibility. And supply chain consultants are going to work on this blue section, that is business group, master org creation, inventory ordination, sub inventories and locators creation, and then maintenance of them. Okay, so that means creating enterprise structure is a combination of different consultants. Creating enterprise structure is a combination of different implementation consultants. The first one is the first two is HR consultant, and the third one and fourth one is finance consultant, and remaining is supply chain consultant. Okay, so what is the significance of each entity? What is the significance of each entity? We'll discuss now. The first one, enterprise. The first one at enterprise, it's a headquarter of the company. It's a headquarter of the company. The best example is Oracle Corporation. Oracle Corporation. And then Reliance Corporation. It's a headquarter of the company. And it's a top entity in the enterprise structure. It's a top entity in the enterprise structure. Under this enterprise, we might be having different businesses. We means the client. The client might be having different businesses. In case if you take an example of Oracle itself, Oracle Corporation is an entity, is an enterprise. Oracle Corporation is an enterprise, and it has got different divisions. The divisions are nothing but Oracle Education is one division. Oracle Education, nothing but Oracle University. Because Oracle also provides trainings to the people. Oracle also provides training to the people. So Oracle University is one division, and Oracle Consulting is one division, and Oracle Product Development is another division. Is another division. Okay. So Oracle Corporation is an enterprise, and these are the divisions. The divisions are nothing but, so this is my sub businesses, you can call it as. because I'm into product development, I'm into consulting, I'm into university. Okay. So divisions are nothing but it's a different line of businesses that we are having. Different line of businesses that we are having. Okay. So divisions we can create like this. Our divisions we can also create based on the product also. Based on the product also. Suppose Oracle is having different products, right? So Oracle ERP one product, and Oracle database is one product. Okay. And then Oracle reporting tools is another product. So based on the product of the company also, we can create divisions. So here the divisions creation is based on the LOB, line of business, and here the division creation is based on the product. It's based on the product. Okay. So one more example. Okay. Suppose if you take my company, Tech Lead Society, and suppose if you want to classify the divisions based on the product, if I want to classify divisions based on the product, I'm going to classify it like Oracle EBS trainings and Oracle Fusion trainings. I'm going to classify this way. Okay. Otherwise, if I want to classify based on the line of business, I'll configure like this: trainings, and I'm into staffing also, staffing services, and I'm into product development also. Okay. And I'm into constructions also. I'm into constructions also. Okay. I request everyone, the moment you join into this class, please mute yourself. I request everyone, the moment you join into the class, please mute yourself. Ranjit, mute yourself. Ranjit, can you hear us? Okay. So here, so trainings is one line of business I have, and then staffing services, and then product development, and then I'm into constructions also. So this is my enterprise, and these are the divisions which I have created in the application, which I have segregated in the application based on the line of businesses. Otherwise, I can configure based on the product also. Otherwise, we can also configure based on the country also. Country means I'm into US, and then I'm into India. In that situation, I can create like this: US division, and then India division. I can create this way. So divisions we can create based on the line of business. Otherwise, divisions can be created based on the product. Otherwise, divisions can be created based on the geography also. Geography also. Okay. And then, so these two are the, so I mentioned here. So divisions we can create based on the line of business. Line of business is nothing but if you are into constructions and if you are into telecommunications, these two are two line of businesses. Otherwise, we can also create a combination like this, combination based on the line of business and geography. So US telecom services, India telecom services, US construction services, okay, and US telecom services. So we can also create a combination of the geography and line of business here in this case. Okay. And the next two entities are ledger and legal entity. So what is ledger? What is ledger? So I'll tell you a simple and a realistic example. So if you go to any accounting office, any accounting firm, if you have gone to any accounting firm, accounting office, the clerk or an accountant is going to maintain different books, right? Is going to maintain different books. So one book for the payments, and one book for salaries, one book for receipts, one book for expenses. Okay. So he's going to maintain the different books to capture different types of transactions. He's going to maintain different books to capture different kind of financial transactions in the company. Okay. But end of the month, or maybe end of the year, or maybe end of the year, or end of the month, or end of the quarter, they're going to reconcile all the books data, and they're going to maintain one main book. And in that main book, they can identify whether they are into profits or loss. Whether they are into profits or loss, they could be identifying by consolidating everything into one main book. Okay. So that kind of books also called as ledger books. That kind of books also called as ledger book. Okay. In the similar way, how we capture all the financial transactions of the company, we can capture through ledger. We can capture through ledger. So every financial transaction happening in the company, finally it should be posted to the ledger. Finally it should be posted to the ledger. Anything, something you are purchasing from the supplier, something you are purchasing from the supplier. It can be a goods or it can be a service. After your purchase is done, and after making the payment to the supplier, because after receiving the stock from the supplier, we have to make the payment to the supplier, right? So once you've done the payment to the supplier, it should hit ledger. It should hit ledger. And after paying salaries to the employees, it should hit ledger. After paying rent, after paying current bill, after paying office expenses, every financial transaction finally should be posted to the ledger. Okay. And from the ledger, we can pull, from the ledger, we can pull profit and loss report and trial balance report to understand whether we are in profits or not. Okay. And then here in the ledger, before you create a ledger, you have to decide, the value we are talking about. Suppose if you say, 10,000, I paid 10,000 to employee. What 10,000? Is it 10,000 rupees or $10,000 or 10,000 euro? What is that? You're talking about some amount. That amount belongs to which currency? The amount belongs to which currency? So before you create a ledger, first of all, we have to create currency. First of all, we have to create currency. The value should be posted in the ledger based on that currency, whether it is a 10,000 INR or 10,000 US dollar. So currency is required. And then calendar. And then calendar. So calendar is nothing but it's a financial calendar. It's a financial calendar. So in India, the financial calendar mostly from April to March, right? The financial calendar. And outside of India, it is January to December. What is your company financial calendar? Okay. And that we have to create. And then chart of account. And then chart of account. This chart of account is nothing but like how an accountant maintain different books to capture different kind of transactions. In the similar in application also, we create different accounts. We create different accounts. Okay. So one account for salaries, one account for rent, one account for expenses. So based on the transaction, if the transaction is related to salaries, go and hit this account. If the transaction is related to purchases, go and hit this account. So we are going to define accounts under chart of accounts, different accounts, and the conditions we are going to write under SLA. The conditions are nothing but Suppose if you're paying salaries to marketing department, so this is the account. And if you're paying salaries to sales department, it has to hit to this account. And if you're paying salaries to finance department, it has to hit to this account. Okay. An example, if you take a IT company example, in IT company, they're having different departments, right? Like Java department, .NET department, Salesforce department, Oracle department, SAP department, Microsoft department. So I would like to have separate accounts for all these departments. Suppose if I'm paying salaries to Oracle department and it should hit Mr. It should hit ABC account. And if I'm paying salaries to Microsoft department, it should hit to XYZ account. So such kind of conditions I'm going to write under SLA. Okay. I'm going to create the different accounts here, the different account here, and I'm going to write conditions under SLA. Under SLA. Based on the transaction that we are performing, the system is going to identify the account automatically based on the conditions that we have written in the SLA. SLA stands for subledger accounting. SLA stands for subledger accounting. Okay. So before we create a ledger, we need to create these four. We need to create this four. That means we have to identify the currency and then financial calendar, and we have to define different accounts. We have to define different accounts and then followed by the SLA, nothing but rules. Rules to identify the accounts. Okay. And as I told you, the ledger creation is done by financial consultant and maintenance is also done by financial consultant. Okay. But I'm going to explain you from the first entity itself. I'm going to configure everything from the first entity. I'll show you. Okay. It is good that if you have a knowledge how a ledger is going to work in the system. I'm going to show you from the first entity. We create everything from the scratch. Okay. We also create ledger. We also create all these four things. And then legal entity. Legal entity is nothing but legal company. Legal entity is nothing but legal company. Okay. So based on the line of business that we are doing, suppose I'm into training, staffing, and then product development, and then construction. Suppose if I want to start pharma business, see one registration is not sufficient to operate all these businesses, right? One registration is not sufficient. Okay, you have to go with multiple registrations. That means you have to start multiple legal companies here. Multiple legal companies. And also just by taking registration in India, you cannot operate in US also. You cannot operate in other countries. So the legal entity is nothing but the legal registration, the legal companies that we are having. Based on the legal companies that we are having, we need to regularly provide our sales reports and tax reports to the government. Okay. So simply one legal entity for one line of business, one legal entity for one line of business to be created in the application, and also one legal entity for one country. One legal entity for one country. Let us take you're having only one line of business, but you are operating in two countries. You're having one line of business, but you're operating in two countries. Then how many legal entities has to be created, team? Then how many legal entities has to be created? Everyone?
Two.
So
Two legal entities has to be created, right?
Yeah.
So the legal entities is based on the line of business and also based on the country. Okay. So this has to be configured in the system. Okay, based on how many number of legal entities that we are having, that many, how many legal companies that we are having, that many legal entities has to be created in the application. Okay. And then business unit. And then business unit. So in EBS, it is called as an operating unit, but in Fusion, it is called as a business unit. It is called as a business unit. Okay. And this terminology, this business unit terminology has taken from the PeopleSoft. Has taken from the PeopleSoft. You know, Fusion is a hybrid product, right? Fusion is a hybrid product. Okay, so the Fusion has the Fusion application flavor has taken from. I would say it's a mixed fruit juice. Fusion is a mixed fruit juice. This application-based functionalities has taken from different ERP products. You know that PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, and Oracle EBS, and Siebel CRM. Okay, and coming to this business unit terminology, it has taken from the PeopleSoft. Okay, and what is the business unit, and what are the flexibility that we achieved by replacing with the operating unit? That we'll see now. That we'll see now. Okay. And from the business unit level, from the business unit level, we control we control all our sales and purchases, payments and receipts from the customer. Receipts from the customer. From the business unit level. From the business unit level, we accept sales orders from the customer, and we make the purchases to the supplier, and then we make the payments to the supplier, and we receive the payment from the customer. So from the business unit level, we control these transactions. We control these transactions. Okay. And also this business unit creation, it is also most of the clients for one country, one business unit. Most of the clients. Okay. Like India, here, US business unit, and then India business unit. Okay. India business unit. So that means you're going to track the sales across the country, and then purchases across the country, and payments and receipts also across the country. So otherwise, if you want to track based on north region, based on east region, we can also create this way. Business units not only like this, we can create this way. We can create this way. So that means what happens, we can track our sales and everything, the sales and everything, expenses or purchase everything based on these north, east, and then west, based on this. Otherwise, based on the country also. Okay, either one is possible. Either you have to create business units this way, or either you have to create business units this way. This way. So how you want to track and how you wanted to classify your sales and purchases and payments and receipts. Okay. Suppose if it is US, if you don't want to create like USBU, you can create like this: North California business unit or South California business unit. This way also we can create. But I would say generally 99.9% clients I've seen they created this way based on the country. For one country, one business unit. How many countries the client is? 10 countries. The client is into 10 countries. The client handling business into 10 countries, 10 business units. That's it. Okay. And what is the flexibility? What is the flexibility, and what is the and why it has been replaced with the operating unit? So let us discuss about that. I have few examples. And before I explain you those examples, give me a second thing. Usman Ghani, mute yourself. Okay. So when you're defining the business unit in the application, we can define the business functions also. We can define the business functions for that business unit or the purpose of that business unit. Whether the business unit is allowed to create requisitions, whether the business unit is allowed to create purchase orders, or whether the business unit is allowed to create invoicing or not. While defining the business unit, we can define the business functions. According to the business functions, the business unit is going to behave in the application. Suppose you have not provided invoicing business function. You have not provided invoicing business function. That means the business unit cannot create a invoice. And you have not provided the purchasing business function, and the business unit is not allowed to create a purchase order. So like this, around close to 12 to 15 business functions are 12 to 15 business functions are there. Okay. So an example I'll tell you here. Suppose in our home, the purchasing is controlled by our father. The purchasing. Suppose you have to ask your father. You have to ask your father. In the similar way, in fusion applications also, if you're having different business units, then we can control all the purchases from one business unit itself. We can control all the purchases from the one business unit. So such kind of business model is called as centralized procurement. Such kind of business model is called as centralized procurement. Okay. Here, how many business units we are having? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And for India business unit, the purchasing business function, nothing but procurement. Business function is available here, team. Do you see procurement business function here? Do you see? Do you see procurement business function here for India?
Yes, sir.
No.
For Australia?
No, no, no.
That means they cannot create purchase orders, right? But if they want any stock,
They would be asking UK and USA.
exactly. So they should consume the services from UK. Let us assume USA also is not having procurement business function. USA is also not having procurement business function. That means all these three business units has to request UK only. That means the complete procurement, the complete purchases is controlled by the UK business unit. So this kind of model is called as centralized procurement. Centralized procurement. Okay. But here in case of USA can request UK, otherwise USA can buy for itself also. The two things are there. USA can request from UK, otherwise USA can buy from itself also because it has got procurement business function. So because of enabling and disabling these business functions to the business units, we can achieve these kind of business models in the application. While defining the Australia business unit, don't provide procurement business function. And don't provide a procurement business function for India while defining. And don't provide USA procurement business function while defining. You should consume the services from UK. Okay. And how that is achieved? How that is achieved, we'll see in the application. We'll see in the application how this centralized procurement is achieved. So these are the different procurement business models. Different procurement business models. So right now we discussed about this one, this model. So here, this SSP is nothing but shared service business unit. This SSC nothing but shared service business unit. How many business units we are having? That means 3 business units. So the BU1 and then BU2 is taking the services from this shared service business unit. Okay. So all the procurement is happening from this business unit only. And this business unit is making the payment to the supplier. After making the payment to the supplier, this business unit is creating an intercompany invoice. This business unit is creating an intercompany invoice between these 2 business units. See here, this is intercompany invoice. You see my cursor, right, everyone? You see my cursor? So it's creating an intercompany invoice between these business units. So this is complete centralized procurement. This is, and most commonly we see this method. Most of the clients, 95% of the clients, they are in this model. That means from the same business unit, everything happens, like creating a requisition, bidding process, and then purchasing from the supplier, making the payment to the supplier. It happens under every BU. So this is decentralized model. This is decentralized model. Okay, and this we see mostly in all our projects. 95% this will see, and maybe 2-3% will see this complete shared service model. And the other two are very rarely seen, maybe 0.5% chances. And this is, I would say, no client is going to implement this one, the last one. Okay. What is these models? Let's discuss. So we have 3 business units, but here what is happening? The bidding process, the sourcing, identifying the supplier, the bidding process, it happens commonly. And after identifying the supplier, once we're done with our bidding process, again we are creating local purchase orders. See here, the buy column. See the buy column. So only bidding process is centralized here. So that's why it is called as a centralized sourcing and local execution. Okay. So transfer procurement for local BU. Okay. So here different business units are participating in different areas. This is very rarely seen example, I would say. So one BU is creating a requisition, and another BU is doing the bidding process, and other BU is creating the purchase order and making the payment. Okay, it's I would say 0.001% clients are going to implement this model. So because of the flexibility has given while defining the business needs, we can define these kind of procurement business models in the application. Okay. And then next entity is master org. What is this master organization? This master organization is nothing but, suppose let us take my institute. I'm having different products like SCM, HCM, and then finance, and then technical. I have different products, right? Okay, and I have branches in multiple places. I have branch in Hyderabad, and then Bangalore, and then Chennai. And not only in India, I have branches in other countries also. I have in New York and then California. Okay, I have branches in many places. Okay, so these are actually called as inventory ordinations. So in application these are called as inventory ordinations in application. Okay, so business wording is, business terminology is branches. Business terminology is branches, right? So this is my branch, or I'm going to call it as a Hyderabad Institute, Bangalore Institute, and Chennai Institute. So institute is a business terminology, but technically speaking, it's called as inventory ordination. Okay. Since I'm into trainings, I'm calling them as institutes. And otherwise, if you're into some other business, you can call it as a branches. Or if you're into retail business, you can call it as a retail entities. You can call them as. Okay. So in which institute I'm offering which courses? In which institute I'm offering which courses? Which products I'm offering in which institute? Let us take I'm offering all these courses in all the institutes, in all the inventory ordinations. That means how many times I should define here? 4 into these 4 courses that I'm offering. I should define under Hyderabad, I should define under Bangalore, I should define under Chennai, New York, and CA. So I'm having 4 products. Suppose if I'm having 50,000 products which I'm dealing with, that means 50,000 into how many times? Okay. So this is a redundancy and data duplication, right? Since we are defining the same products under all inventory ordinations, it's a redundancy, data duplication. Okay. So that's why what we have to do is we have to create, to avoid this redundancy and data duplication, we have to create a master ordination. We have to create a master ordination. This is also called as item master ordination. See here, item master ordination. That means we only create items under this. And this is a logical org. It's not a physical org. Suppose if we talk about these institutes, physically they located, but this is not physical. This is logical org. I create in the application to achieve this functionality. To achieve this functionality, I create in the application. That's it. It's not physically exist. There is no physical presence for the master ordination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create all my products in the item master ordination. I'm going to create all my products in the item master ordination. Okay. And after creating, first I'm going to create under item master ordination. And after creating, I'm going to assign to the inventory ordinations. I'm going to assign to the inventory ordinations. Am I dealing with supply chain management in Hyderabad? Yes or no? Am I dealing with supply chain management in Bangalore? Yes or no? We don't again define here. We just select yes or no. That's it. Again is that product. We just going to select yes or no. That's it. So item master ordination, the purpose of item master ordination is to define all the items, and after defining, we're going to assign the items to the respective inventory ordinations. We are going to assign items to the respective inventory ordinations. Okay. And then next entity is sub-inventories. Sub-inventories is application terminology, but the business terminology is warehouse. Business terminology is warehouse. It's a warehouse. Okay. under each area, under each branch, I might be having different warehouses. In Hyderabad, in Hyderabad, I'm having warehouse in Gachibowli, and I'm having warehouse in High Tech City. What is meant by warehouse? You know, right? Warehouse is nothing but where we store the stock. We're going to store the stock, right? In Bangalore also, I have warehouses. If I say Bangalore, in Bangalore, where is my warehouse? My warehouse in Maratalli, KR or ECT. Okay. So I'm having different warehouses in different places. Okay. So where I'm going to store my stock. So we can create warehouses with the places names, Otherwise, we can create warehouses like this also. RM, where I'm going to store all my raw material and finished good, and then that means all my raw material I'm going to store under raw material warehouse. All my finished good I'm going to store under finished good warehouse. We can also define sub inventories like this also. The examples for sub inventories like this: stores, and then quality warehouse, and then scrap warehouse, and then rejected products we can maintain in rejected warehouse. So with the place names also we can create its client wish. How client want the sub inventories and warehouse to be created in the application. It's client wish. In one of the project, I created this way. In one of the project, only in one of the project, but all the remaining projects I created this way only. Like raw material, finished goods, stores, and quality, scrap, and rejected. Like this, we can create sub inventories under Hyderabad, and we can create sub inventories on Bangalore, Montreal, and then New York, and then California. We can create that way. So the sub inventories are going to fall under inventory organizations. Okay, and the last concept is locators. Last concept is locators. So this locator is nothing but suppose if your warehouse is really big. If your warehouse is really big, then what we do is we are going to let me give some examples. Suppose if you take cold storages, everybody knows cold storages, right? Cold storage is really big. So every farmer can store their goods into the cold storages. Suppose today a farmer has stored some goods in the cold storage. Suppose if the farmer comes after 1 year, how the management is going to identify that farmer stock has stored in which place? How they are going to verify? So because when they are storing that goods in the warehouse, sorry, in the cold storage, so they're going to mention the location, exact location where the goods has been stored. It is first floor or second floor. What is the room number? Okay, or what is the rack number, or what is the row number or column number? Okay, so such kind of identification is called as a locators. If it is a warehouse is big, locators is optional. If it is warehouse is small, no need to define locators. If the warehouse is big, then define the locators. Nothing but define the locations under the warehouse based on the floor, block, room number, row number, rack number. Based on that, we can create locations to identify the exact product of the exact item stock in the warehouse. And one more best examples for locators are if you take any medical shops like Apollo Pharmacy and MedPlus and Hetero Pharmacy. If any employee, suppose this is my first day. in that Apollo store. Suppose if you're asking me for a drug, I don't know where that is stored. I don't know in which box the medicine is stored. I don't know that. What I do, I put that, I enter that item in the system, and again is that item, again is that medicine, I can see the location of that medicine. And I simply go to that location. It's stored in which row, which rack, and under which box. Okay. So these locations or locators are used to identify the item stock exactly in the warehouse, and which is optional. Which is optional. If the warehouse is small, don't create. If the warehouse is big, then create locations and store the stock under that location. Okay. So that is about enterprise structure. Okay. So we discussed about enterprise. It's a top level entity, like an example, Oracle Corporation and then Reliance Corporation. And divisions we can create based on the line of business. If you are having multiple line of businesses, then multiple divisions has to be created. And then ledger, every financial transaction should be posted to the ledger, But before we create a ledger, we need to create currency, calendar, and then chart of account and SLA. The currency, in which currency the transaction should be posted, and what is your financial calendar from January to December or April to March. And we are going to define different accounts. Different accounts we are going to define here: salaries account, rent account, wages account, machinery account, furniture account. Okay. And then we are going to identify, based on the transaction, we are going to identify it should be hit to which account. Those rules we define under SLA. And then legal entity is nothing but our legal companies. And then business unit, where we operate our sales, purchases, payments, and then receipts, everything. And from the business unit, we can control the business functions also. By controlling the business functions, we can achieve centralized procurement or decentralized procurement, or centralized sourcing and local execution. Different procurement business models we can achieve because of this concept. And then item master ordination, where we define all our items initially here. And it is also a logical ordination because it does not have any physical presence. It is just used to define items. And once we define the items, we are going to assign the items to the inventory ordinations. Under inventory ordinations, we create sub inventories, nothing but warehouses. We create under inventory ordination. And then locators we create under sub inventories. Locators are nothing but exact location in the warehouse, and which is optional. Okay. So as I said, the yellow ones are HR consultant responsibility, and then green ones financial consultant responsibility, and blue ones is supply chain consultant responsibility. Okay. And the differences I have mentioned here, differences. So go to the recording again, and then again go through these differences also in the Excel sheet. And also there is a presentation available in the drive. The document name is enterprise structure, which is available in your drive. So go to my folder, and then so you have to click on share with me and go to Fusion SCM material 2020. Under that, click on my folder. Under my folder, you'll see this document, Fusion Enterprise Structure. You'll see this document. And that's it from my side for today. And from tomorrow onwards, we'll define them in the application. Okay. So I'm stopping the recording. I'll be